know that, but also to, wish her a full and speedy recovery. Um, so with all the meeting having to be moved and all the extra work, I just want to acknowledge the chamber staff and also the PACB board who accommodated our request, and also Will and others at the agency just for modifying all the materials, which was a heavy lift. And so I just wanted to thank you for all of that. Two quick observations I just wanted to share. The first is, for those of you who saw the debate on Tuesday night, housing affordability was mentioned no less than 5 times, I think reflecting, the pressing national concern for housing affordability, and also that it's a top issue for voters. So we'll continue to do our part to help address the affordability crisis in New York. And second, it was reported earlier this week that inflation cooled to 2.5%, which is also an important fact. That was for August, teeing up the Federal Reserve meeting for next week, which is expected to reduce interest rates, and hopefully that'll be better for our borrowers and allow us to stretch our subsidy a little bit further. So more on that. Okay, with that, I am going to turn things over to Will Martin, HCR Vice President and General Counsel, who will take the requisite legal steps to formally open the meeting of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation.
Great, thank you, Chair Weiss. To begin, we note the following: Chair Weiss, Commissioner Wisnauskas are participating from HCR's Buffalo office at Electric Tower, 535 Washington Street, Suite 105. And Jesse Olzak and Chris Curtis, Jesse Olzak representing the Director of the Budget, Chris Curtis representing the Commissioner of Taxation and Finance, are participating in the meeting video conference from the Division of the Budget's Conference Center at the Capitol Building, room 131 in Albany. In accordance with the Open Meetings Law, notice of these locations have been made public, and the public has the right to attend and observe the proceedings from these locations. Now I will ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation. Is there a motion and second?
Motion.
Second.
I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the HTFC board agenda.
Motion.
Second.
I will now ask for individual votes from each HTFC board member, starting with Chair Weiss.
Aye.
Commissioner Wisnauskas.
Aye.
And Mr. Olzak.
Aye.
Mr. Curtis.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Ms. McEwen.
Aye.
We will use these votes as items are voted on throughout today's meeting, unless members decide to vote differently or need to recuse themselves. With that, the meeting of the HTFC board is officially open, and I'll turn it back over to the chair.
All right, we will now begin with HTFC board agenda and the action items. Item 1, adoption of the minutes of the HTFC meeting held on July 24, 2024, which will be deemed approved absent corrections from members.
And I'll just
next.
Okay, I'll just note for the record that we have a few corrections from members that we'll insert in the final draft.
Great, thank you. Next on the agenda, item 2, resolution authorizing fall 2023 multifamily awards, and Brett Hebner, Vice President of Multifamily Finance, will present this item.
Good morning, thank you. This is the final tranche of our fall 2023 9% awards that were awarded in March of 2024. The board has previously approved all but these remaining 6 awards, and thanks for allowing us to present these in chunks. So I will highlight each project that's listed in the chart on the front of your memo. Obviously, detailed drawings and project details are attached to the memo. Please feel free to stop or ask any questions. Our awards are arranged by our Regional Economic Development Council, so that's the manner in which I'll present. So starting in the Capital Region, Spring City Development Group South Street Apartments is a 70-unit new construction mixed income workforce opportunity project in the city of Glens Falls, Warren County, with 11 units set aside for persons with special needs. The project also includes a 3,200 square foot commercial, community facilities for SUNY Adirondack College, which will offer career training and workforce development in information technology. The next project is Dakota Partners Haven at Latham. This is a 65-unit new construction mixed income project in a well-resourced area in the town of Colony, Albany County, with 10 units set aside to give preference to veterans with a serious mental illness or substance use disorder, with a 2,500 square foot co-working space will also be constructed for residents. Moving to the Central New York, the Syracuse Housing Authority collaborating with Rochester's Cornerstone Group, Eastwood Heights Rehab. It's a preservation of a senior development in Syracuse consisting of 49 original units and 4 expansion units for a total of 53. Next in Long Island is a DNF Development Group collaborating with the Rockville Center Housing Authority to preserve a 50-unit senior project and expand that project by 6 additional units located in Rockville Center, Nassau County. Moving to Mid-Hudson is Locust Hill Rhinebeck MGP, which is a partnership with Kearney Realty and Development. This is an 80-unit well-resourced area project consisting of 4 newly constructed buildings in the town of Rhinebeck, Dutchess County. In New York City, we have the 1546 East New York Housing Development Fund Company, which is a partnership with Zenolith Partners and the Family Services Network of New York, consisting of a new construction 95-unit integrated supportive housing project and community services facility adjacent to the Howard Houses New York City Housing Authority campus in Brooklyn. 57 of those units will be supported by ESHI subsidies and set aside for homeless individuals and served by FSNNY. The project also includes a 6,000 square foot health care facility offering primary care, mental health services, and substance abuse counseling, also operated by FSNNY. Lastly, on the southern tier, Regan Development's Homesteads on the Grand project was previously presented to the board for approval of the subsidies that were awarded with the LIC. The project has recently, however, received a Downtown Redevelopment Initiative, or DRI award, which is now included in the memo for the board's approval. A brief recap, this project is a 72-unit new construction on vacant land in the Johnson City, Broome County, which includes 12 ESHI-supported units targeting individuals and families experiencing chronic homelessness, and includes a 6,200 square foot non-residential space targeted for a daycare center. And that's my presentation. If you folks have any questions.
Thank you. Thanks, Brett. Okay, now Sarah Neitzel, Associate Attorney with HTFC, will present the related resolutions.
And Sarah, just before you jump in, I think Sadie.
I have recusal on the first 2 deals where CPC is the lender.
Okay.
So on
Okay, thank you.
Spring City and Haven, the South Street Apartments and Haven.
Okay. Are there any other recusals?
I have the same 2 recusals, Sarah. I've let Brett know
Okay.
those in advance.
Okay. So I will do our procedure for getting the vote. I note that the HTFC vote requirement is 6, and for today's meeting, we only have 6 members present. Under the Corporation's Code of Conduct, there is a provision that permits the waiver of a recusal requirement in situations where extenuating circumstances warrant consultation regarding the appropriateness of an exception to full recusal. And specifically, this applies in cases where the member's vote is required to meet the affirmative vote and the member is voting with the majority, and all other members are voting unanimously, or without reconstitution, the membership would be unable to meet the affirmative vote requirement, and action by HTFC is required before such time as the membership might change. I note that this vote satisfied all of these conditions, since without Ms. McCune and Mr. Weiss's vote, the matter could not be voted on, as there would only be 5 votes and 6 are required for quorum. Ms. McCune's and Mr. Weiss's votes are therefore accepted, and the recusal requirement is waived. Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the first and second previously entered for the HTFC board. All in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Item 3, resolution authorizing increase to a community investment fund award for Dana Lyons Apartments, LLC. Brett?
Thank you. Providence Housing Development Corporation's Dana Lyon Apartments received a Community Investment Fund award in April 2023 to construct a commercial component of a 49-unit mixed-use integrated supportive housing project located in Bath in Steuben County. and it involves the adaptive reuse of a historic former school and includes an 8,500 square foot commercial space to become a community arts center. Costs have increased significantly since the award, and the developer has secured additional sources of funding and also has requested additional funds from HCR. The board is requested to approve the increase in the SIF award by $338,840 to close the financing gap related to the community services facility.
Great, thank you. Sarah, back to you.
For the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Terrific, thank you. All right, next on the agenda, item 4, resolution authorizing Community Investment Fund Award for Freedom Springs. We're going to table this item until the matter comes up at the HFA board. Next, item 5, resolution authorizing amendments to Affordable Homeownership Opportunity Program Awards, Legacy City Access Program Awards, and Small Rental Development Initiative Awards. Burke Blackman, Director, Distressed Asset Initiatives, will present this item.
That is me. Good morning, everyone. So this is a simple clarifying action to confirm that the permanent portion of awards previously made under these 3 programs, the Affordable Homeownership Opportunity Program, or AHOP, the Legacy City Access Program, or LCAP, and the Small Rental Development Initiative, or CERDI, are forgivable and shall be discharged at the end of their respective terms upon HTFC's determination that all affordability and regulatory requirements have been met. So the first 2 programs, AHOP and LCAP, are homeownership development programs. The subsidy is made available to the developer during home construction through a construction loan. As the homes are completed and sold, a portion of HTFC's construction loan is discharged, and then the home buyer assumes a soft second lien of equivalent amount that's forgivable at the end of a 30-year regulatory period, provided they continue to occupy the home and remain in compliance. These permanent loans are similar to AHC subsidy, except they're not declining balance. The structure was described in the original board memos, but not memorialized in the accompanying resolution, so we're just seeking to get the forgiveness aspect in the record now as a cleanup item. And then the Small Rental Development Initiative offers deferred loans with no interest or payments to nonprofits seeking to develop small rental projects that often can't support significant debt and have few additional sources. Given the modest rents, small cash flow, and frequent appraisal gap, the program did not contemplate the repayment of funds. Upon further discussion with HTFC attorneys, subsequent rounds will be structured as grants with enforcement mortgages rather than as forgivable loans, which the prior awards did. So at this time, we're just seeking a resolution confirming the board's understanding that at the conclusion of the deferred loan and regulatory period, the balances will be forgiven. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, absent any questions, Sarah, will you present the related resolution?
Yep. Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
All right, item 6, next item, resolution authorizing amendments to the Community Development Block Grant CARES Act Award. And Jessica Gabriel, Senior Program Director with the Office of Community Renewal, will present this item and the next 4 items. Jessica?
Okay, good morning. HCR is administering $127 million in Community Development Block Grant CARES funds. This was CDBG funding made available to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. As contracts close, some funds may be left over, and we've been routinely reallocating these funds to continue successful program activities. The Village of Canton has successfully used its prior award of CDBG CARE funds to support 2 activities: mental health counseling services and a program of business assistance for microenterprises, resulting in supporting the 8 businesses and the creation of 18 jobs serving 605 people. The village has requested additional funding to support more than 100 additional clients. The Office of Community Renewal is seeking board approval to award an additional $752,669 to the Village of Canton in St. Lawrence County. Full details are in the memo, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the members.
Thank you, Jessica. Sarah, will you present the resolution?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Next item, resolution authorizing a community development block grant economic development program award for Tioga County. Jessica, you're up again.
The Office of Community Renewal offers CDBG Economic Development Program assistance through an open round application. Tioga County has requested $212,500 in CDBG Economic Development funding to support a county-wide microenterprise program. OCR is seeking board approval to award funds and enter into a grant agreement with Tioga County to begin these program activities. I'm happy to answer any questions related to this.
Thank you. Sarah, will you present the resolution?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the first and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 8, resolution authorizing an amendment to the Downtown Revitalization Initiative Award. Jessica?
We are requesting an amendment to an existing Downtown Revitalization Initiative, or a DRI award, with the HTFC board approved entering into a grant agreement with the Village of Amityville for a DRI funds as part of a slate of HCR assigned DRI Round 5 projects in January 2023. In coordination with the Department of State, it's been determined that another DRI award in Amityville should be combined with the village's existing contract for more efficient administration. We're requesting board approval to increase the award and amend the village's existing $600,000 contract. This reallocation of existing DRI resources will result in a new contract total of $1,907,000. Any questions from the board on this?
Any questions? Thank you. Sarah, will you present the resolution?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Next, item 9, resolution authorizing an amendment to a New York State Home Program Award. Jessica, you're up again.
On December 8th, 2022, the Housing Trust Fund Board approved a home award to Home Headquarters to support a downtown payment assistance program in the amount of $800,000. Home Headquarters has expanded its service area to provide down payment assistance support in more counties and has requested additional New York State home funding to support demand in this additional area. The Office of Community Renewal is seeking approval to increase the award by $400,000. Full details are in the memo and briefing sheets, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the members.
Thanks. Sarah?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 10, resolution authorizing a Land Bank Initiative Award for Essex County Land Bank.
Great.
Jessica?
Thank you. Significant funding has been made available in the 3 recent budget cycles to support the services and expenses of land banks. We've offered 2 phases of funding for existing land banks, including operational support in the first phase and funding for acquisitions and capital activities in the second phase. We have now made the Land Bank Initiative funding available on an open round basis to support land bank services and expenses as existing contracts are depleted and new needs are identified. This month, we are requesting approval to award up to $1,850,000 in Land Bank Initiative funding to the Essex County Land Bank to support a comprehensive suite of activities, including pre-development, acquisition, building stabilization, and rehab and demolition. Full details are in the memo, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the members.
Thank you, Jessica. Sarah?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, next item, 11, resolution authorizing resilient and ready home repair program awards. The members should note that there was a supplemental resolution and memo for item 11 that was distributed earlier this week concerning one additional proposed award under this program. Dina Levy, Senior VP, Homeownership and Community Development, will present this item. Dina?
Hi. Good morning. So this is a request to approve a contracting with 13 not-for-profits who are going to be serving 17 counties that were impacted by storms that occurred in July and August. The total contract awards is not to exceed $13 million. So there were storms that hit upstate between July 10th and July 16th that impacted 8 counties. There were storms again, unfortunately, due to Tropical Storm Debbie that affected a different 7 counties upstate. And then in August, around August 18th, there was some cloudburst storms in Long Island affecting both Nassau and Suffolk County. So we are using this new program called Resilient and Ready. Part of the funds are reserved to go out and do proactive work to improve resiliency of single-family homes. And then part of the funds are used for this purpose, which is to assist homeowners after storms with emergency home repairs. So again, 13 not-for-profits, not to exceed $13 million to serve 17 counties.
Great, thanks, Dina. Sarah, we present the resolution.
Now before the HTFC board are the resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolutions are adopted.
Thank you. Item 12, resolution authorizing an amendment to the contract with Teleq Construction Management, Inc. Dina, go ahead.
Yep. So this is a request to create a 1-year renewal and a contract increase of just over $2.3 million for Teleq, who is a consulting firm that provides both project management and staffing support for RHC across all of our 3 major programs: housing, community reconstruction, and rebuild by design. I am happy to report that this will be the last amendment to this contract, and at the end of the 1-year renewal, we should be wrapped up with Teleq.
Great. Sarah?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Great. Next on the agenda, item 13, resolution authorizing community-controlled affordable housing program awards. Anika Nawabi, Director, Special Initiatives for Single Family, will present this item.
Yes, good morning, everyone. We are seeking authorization to enter into 13 grant agreements. There is an error on the resolution on the number of awardees here, but we would like to award 13 grantees a total of $719,000 for the community-controlled affordable housing program. This is a $1 million state appropriation towards which we issued an RFP, and we received 13 applications. The goal of the program is to award communities with planning or pre-development acquisition grants that emphasize resident governance and long-term affordability. So we are seeking authorization to enter into these 13 agreements. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Anika. Sarah?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Next, item 14, resolution approving secret documentation and classification of the New Berlin project. Heather Spitzberg, Environmental Unit Director, will present this item.
Good morning.
Heather?
My name is Carlos Barbosa. I'm filling in for Heather today. I am a SECA officer, and today I'm recommending and requesting that you classify the New Berlin project as an unlisted action and issue a negative declaration pursuant to SECRA. The project is a gut rehabilitation of five two-story buildings for families with a total of 21 units on Genesee and Green Streets in the town of New Berlin, Chenango County. There are no unmitigated adverse environmental impacts, and I'm happy to take any questions. Otherwise, I now ask that you issue an unlisted negative declaration for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Sarah?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, next item 15, we're going to table until the HFA Governance Committee meeting. Item 16, resolution authorizing a subrecipient agreement with the Village of Rye Brook under the Hurricane Ida Resilient Investments through Support and Capital Program. Amy Chan, Assistant Commissioner, Homeownership and Community Development, will present this item. Amy?
Hi, so Amy had some child care issues this morning, so I'm going to step in for her. So this was an award previously approved by the board as part of our RISC, which are planning grants to localities to do resiliency planning and preparation. The town of Rye had received a grant from us. Subsequently, they got funding from another source, and in order to avoid any duplication of benefits, they've requested swapping out one of the projects and adding a new one, which is the Brookline Resiliency Planning Project. This is a project to plan for addressing ponding that's occurring across Brookline in the town of Rye. There's no change to the award amount.
Okay, thanks, Dina. Sarah?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, we're going to skip item 17, which has been pulled. Item 18, resolution authorizing a contract with Sherlock Holmes Interior Corporation. Dina,
Love the name.
Dina,
Yeah. So this is a new contract award, not to exceed $180,000 for 1 year. This is a property maintenance company, which we require for properties that RHC owns. Eventually, these properties will be demolished, but until that time, we have to maintain them and make sure that they are compliant with code. So we're retaining Sherlock in order to make sure we stay compliant.
Thank you. Sarah?
Now before the HTFC board is the resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. We were going to table item 19 until the HFA, AHC, and SONYMA board meetings later this morning. The remaining items on the HTFC board agenda are information only. There will be no presentation unless requested by the members. Item 20, review of seeker concur actions. Item 21, review of seeker type 2 actions. Item 22, review of the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation's National Coastal Resilience Fund grant agreement. Item 23, annual review of the Technical Assistance Support Services contract with Frank Consulting Group. And item 24, review of the current agency procurement contracts in the lobbying restriction period. With that, there is no unfinished business on the agenda for the HTFC board. We're now going to open the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC meetings. We will leave the HTFC board meeting open to consider certain resolutions that have been tabled on matters that are going to come before the HFA, AHC, and SONYMA boards as well. Will, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's see, General Counsel, who will take the requisite legal steps to formally open the meetings for New York State HFA, Affordable Housing Corporation, SONYMA, State of New York Municipal Bond Bank, and Tobacco Settlement Financing Corporation, and each of their respective committees that are meeting today. Will?
Well, and Chair, we fortunately, I think we're going to take a little break because we have to wait for our additional members to arrive. Thank you, everyone who moved so quickly through the HTFC agenda. We handled that a little bit faster than we anticipated. So
We could do
Yeah.
MBBA, TSFC, HFA.
Yeah, why don't
Well,
we-
what if we did, we have way too much time, so what if we did MBBA, TSFC, HFA?
Well, their items are all joint with SONYMA, so it's.
Well, then
it
we
just
would
be-
redo
We'd be
the
repeating
Sunny May
them
ones.
when the
No,
SONYMA
I know,
ones-
but we would, I bet we would maybe get through,
The audit committees, agenda.
We do all.
I mean, we can do TSFC, HFA, MBBA Audit Committee, and Governance Committee, right? We can't
Yeah,
take an
just-
hour break. I don't think that's like feasible
Yeah.
for people's time, so we may need to, and I think we could probably get through MBBA, TSF, well, we could get through Audit and Governance.
Totally.
As one who will be here for the whole time, I'm fine with going through it twice.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, well, some of us will get repeats, but not everybody. And those that don't have to repeat can leave. Yeah, we have a for HFA, MBBA, TSFC. Oh, you don't have David, right?
No, we don't have any of the
Gonzalez.
Sunny. We don't have any of the SONYMA directors yet. I don't believe.
No, I know. I meant for MBBA and TSFC.
Oh.
Correct, Mr. Gonzalez.
Do we need him for quorum, or could we do MBBA, TSFC? I'm not asking you. I'm just looking in your direction.
Yeah, let me give me a few minutes.
Yeah, do you want to take a second and see what we could run through?
Yeah, let me.
And then we can always repeat on the Sunny May. We'll just we'll disaggregate our aggregated situation. But we have I think we have MBBA, TSFC.
That's not right. It's 9:35. Whoops, I'm sorry.
I think.
Let's start auction.
That's.
Andy?
Okay, we're back.
Okay, we're on mute.
You can hear us, Will?
We're off mute.
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Hey, Andy.
Who's that?
Dave, I think. Dave?
Hi, Dave.
Oh, we can't see you.
We
Hi.
can't see you.
Oh, we can hear you.
Can you see our video, or you just can't see Dave?
Yes, we just can't see Dave.
Okay.
We see.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
One more time. Got it. No. Well, are you ready?
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on this camera angle. Sorry, you can't change it because it's attached to the wall. We're gonna have to move it now that
Oh,
I've
is
seen
that-
it from this. It's
Or you
it's
could,
horrible.
you could change where people see it,
We
where
can
they sit.
flip people on the other side, or we can move the table too. but-
Because it's like that one, right? It's like bolted in, and then the thing itself doesn't go like side to side. Yeah.
I don't know who designed this
So
place,
this
but
side
we're
doesn't
gonna have
get
to work on it.
seen.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can see our table up in
Yeah.
there, right?
I think it's because the camera's
top.
like the one on top of the
But,
TV.
but
and
no one's
it's-
gonna sit next to Will, so we could put people on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the I think the.
Uh,
Their camera.
See the presenters.
Sorry,
Can we start?
we're corralling,
Yeah,
we're corralling members.
Okay, that's all right.
Give us-
Sort of.
Sorry.
Hey, Will, I'm gonna skip the president's report this month if it comes. Oh, I'm gonna tell you. Sorry, I already told Will. I'm gonna skip the president's report. So when it gets to that, let's skip to save on
Got it.
time. I'll do an extended version.
Next time.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
re-release.
so we're ready to get started. I will pick up where we left off with the chair. To begin, we note the following. Chair Weiss, Commissioner Visnauskas, and Andrew Sanfilippo. Did I say that right, Andrew? I'm sorry.
Yes, you did. San Filippo.
Great.
It's great.
Are participating from HCR's Buffalo office at Electric Tower, 535 Washington Street, Suite 105. Jesse Olzak, Chris representing the Director of the Budget, Chris Curtis representing the Commissioner of Taxation and Finance, and David Gonzalez representing the Secretary of State are participating in the meeting video conference from the New York State Division of Budget Conference Center at the Capitol Building, room 103 in Albany. In accordance with the open meetings law, notice of these locations has been made public, and the public has the right to attend and observe the proceedings from any of these locations. Now I will ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meetings of the New York State Housing Finance Agency and the Affordable Housing Corporation. Is there a motion or second? Is there a second?
So moved.
Yeah.
Second.
I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the HFA and AHC board agendas.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Thank you. I now ask for individual votes from each HFA and AHC board member, starting with Chair Weiss.
Aye.
Commissioner Visnauskas.
Aye.
Mr. Olzak.
Aye.
Mr. Curtis.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Ms. McEwen.
Aye.
I'll now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting of the State of New York Mortgage Agency. Second. I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the SONYMA board agenda. Second. I'll now ask for individual votes from each SONYMA board director. We will accept the previous votes of Vice Chair Visnauskas and Mr. Olzak. Professor Ford is not with us just yet. Mr. Freeman. Mr. Capel. And I will note that we have a quorum with SONYMA. We've received the resignation of the member Ken Adams, so we have a quorum with 4 SONYMA directors, a majority of the directors now in office. I will ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meetings of the State of New York Municipal Bond Bank Agency and the Tobacco Settlement Financing Corporation.
So moved.
Second.
Second. I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the MBBA and TSFC board agendas.
So moved.
Second.
And I'll now ask for individual votes from each MBBA and TSFC board member. We will accept the previous votes of Chair Weiss and Mr. Olzak. Mr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
And Mr. Sanfilippo.
Aye.
I will now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meetings of the HFA and AHC audit committees.
So moved.
Second.
Is it second? I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the HFA and AHC audit committee agendas.
So moved.
Second.
We will accept the previous votes of Chair Weiss, Mr. Olzak, and Mr. Curtis. I will now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting of the SONYMA Audit Committee. Vice Chair.
Motion.
Yeah, second.
Sorry, I forgot. Motion.
And that's all right. And Mr. Olzak, second. Yeah.
Second.
We'll accept the previous votes and I'll ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the SONYMA Audit Committee agenda. So Vice Chair and Mr. Olzak, that's you.
So moved.
Second.
We will now ask, we'll accept the previous votes of Vice Chair Visnauskas and Mr. Olzak. I will now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting MBBA and TSFC audit committees.
So moved.
Second.
And I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the MBBA and TSFC audit committee agendas.
So moved.
Second.
We will accept the previous votes of Chair Weiss, Mr. Olzak, and Mr. Sanfilippo. I will now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meetings of the HFA and AHC governance committees.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I'll now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the HFA and AHC Governance Committee agendas.
So moved.
Second.
And we will accept the previous votes of Chair Weiss, Mr. Olzak, and Mr. Curtis. I will now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting of the SONYMA Governance Committee.
So moved.
Second. We will accept the previous votes, and I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the SONYMA Governance Committee agenda. Second.
So moved.
We will accept the previous votes of Vice Chair Wisniewski, Mr. Olzak, and Mr. Capel. We will now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meetings of the MBBA and TSFC governance committees.
So moved.
And I'll now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the MBBA and TSFC governance committee agendas.
I'm not on the governance.
So moved.
We will accept the previous votes of Chair Weiss, Mr. Olzak, and Mr. Gonzalez. I'll now ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting of the HFA Finance and Program Committee.
So moved.
So moved.
I'll now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on HFA Finance and Program Committee agenda.
So moved.
Second.
And we will accept the previous votes of Chair Weiss, Commissioner Wisniewski, and Mr. Olzak. And I'll ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting of the SONYMA Finance and Program Committee.
So moved.
Vice Chair.
Second.
Yes.
Second.
And we will accept the previous votes of Vice Chair, I will ask now for a motion and second to consider each item on the SONYMA Finance and Program Committee agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We will accept the previous votes of Vice Chair Wisniewski and Mr. Olzak. Finally, I will ask for motions and seconds to call to order and later adjourn the meeting of the SONYMA Mortgage Insurance Committee. Second.
Second.
I will now ask for motions and seconds to consider each item on the SONYMA Mortgage Insurance Committee agenda. We will accept the previous votes of Vice Chair Wisniewski, Mr. Olzak, and Mr. Capel. We will use these votes as items are voted on throughout today's meeting unless members or directors decide to vote differently or need to recuse themselves. In addition to the meeting of the HTFC board, which remains open, the meetings of the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC boards, in addition to the meetings of the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC audit and governance committees, the HFA Finance and Program Committee, the SONYMA Finance and Program Committee, and the SONYMA Mortgage Insurance Committee are all officially open. And I back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with the agenda for the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC audit committees and begin with the shared audit committee agenda items. The first item is the adoption of the minutes of the meetings held on the dates listed on the agenda, which shall be deemed approved absent corrections from members or directors, and I'll abstain from that since I did not attend that meeting. Next on the agenda is item 2, budget requests and financial plans for fiscal year 2025, and Daryl Johnson, Deputy Chief Financial Officer, will present the item. Daryl?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So,
Good morning, board members. Ted is going to present. He's the CFO. Good morning.
Great.
good morning. So, if you could, for the administrative budget request, if you could turn to page 10, I'm sorry, page 10. We'll take a look at the second column is the 2024 approved budget of $107,485,000. This year's 2025 budget request for HFA, SONYMA, AHC, MBBA, TSFC is $110,711,000. This is a grand total of 3% higher than the previous budget. Daryl and I could take any questions that you have. You could look at where we currently have 318 employees, but we budget for 353. So there's about 20 to 25 outstanding positions being worked on by HR. That drives a good portion of our expenses in our increase. Open to any questions that anyone has.
Okay, thank you. Will you present the resolution?
Now before the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC audit committees.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
please.
sorry to interrupt, but I was
The
also
second
going
part,
to
yeah.
take you
Oh.
through the financial plan. Ted just
Please.
addressed the
The administrative budget.
administrative
Oh,
budget
I'm-
request.
Please.
So the second part is the financial plan.
I
Good
apologize.
morning, everybody. That's okay. So the financial plans for the agencies start on page 20, and these provide a forecast of estimated revenues and expenses for each agency over the next 4 years. This is based on historical experience, expected market activity, and economic conditions. These financial plans are made exclusive of conduit debt, and it's to provide insight regarding the unrestricted revenues that will be available to pay the administrative expenses that Ted just went over. So I'm going to focus on the revenue piece, and behind each financial plan, there will be a line explanation on the following page that can explain every line that's shown on these reports. So for HFA, again, this is page 20. The line I'm going to focus on right now is the first row that says charges for services. These are revenue items that HFA generates through its mortgage servicing fees. We charge 25 basis points on outstanding mortgages. And also we have we charge a 2% financing fee for when we do bond deals. And additionally, there's a tax monitoring fee. It's about $10,000 a year for projects that have paid off, and that monitoring fee is to make sure those projects remain affordable for the next 25 or 30 or more years. The total HFA charges for services or fees last year was about $71 million. We expect that to rise to about $103.5 million by 2028. And that will be the basis for the expenses that HFA will have to pay for the administration of the programs. If you turn to page 24, we have the financial plan for SONYMA, State of New York Mortgage Agency. As you know, SONYMA has two businesses, the single-family business and also the mortgage insurance fund. On the single-family side, the revenues come from the spread that's earned between the mortgage interest that's earned and the bond expense that's paid. That spread goes to the resolution and it's restricted. But the resolution does allow for money to be transferred out to cover administrative expenses. Currently, we transfer out about $19 million between the two indentures, and that covers the administrative expenses of the SONYMA business. On the MIF side, MIF has a few sources of income. The biggest one, as you know, is the mortgage recording tax. Before, by April, which is the date of this report, we had taken in $51 million year to date. That's the fiscal year to date for the mortgage recording taxes. That's about $17 million less than we had at the same period last year. And it's just a function of the recording tax that are remitted for mortgages that are made throughout the state of New York. The MIF also collects insurance premiums. We have about $10.5 million year to date through April. And we also receive application fees that's relatively small. Year to date, it's $83,000. So those are the primary sources of revenue for the MIF portion of administrative expenses. Next, I'm going to move on to MBBA. So MBBA, as you know, has not had a lot of activity over the last several years. And I know there are some legislative challenges that Mark Price has discussed previously. So we don't have a lot of activity here. Last year, we only collected $51,000 in service fees. Those fees are based on the amount of bonds outstanding. Currently, the rate is about 5.5 basis points that we charge. We expect that to go down over the next several years as the amount of bonds outstanding decreases, and we expect to receive about $7,000 by 2028. Like I said, not a lot of activity here. And it's also important to know that MBBA, because it doesn't generate a lot of revenue, is partially subsidized by HFA. Okay. And please stop me if you have any questions. The next agency's budget and financial plan on page 32 is Tobacco Settlement Finance Corporation. As you know, we receive tobacco settlement revenues annually in perpetuity. We get roughly about $300 million a year, and these are based on the MSA between the states and the participating cigarette manufacturers. That money is held, it's restricted, and typically we remit it to the state when it's called. The only money we draw from it is a small amount to cover administrative expenses for the program. But that's relatively small. Looks like it's about maybe $200,000 a year. And it's also important to note that the tobacco settlement bonds have been paid off since 2017. So there's no more bonds outstanding. And finally, the Affordable Housing Corporation, this is on page 36, receives $26 million in annual appropriations. My understanding is there is a legislative administrative portion of that appropriation, but we currently don't get that. So HFA 100% subsidizes AHC for its administrative costs. The only other revenue that comes in for AHC are the repayments and recaptured. But again, that's restricted, and that typically is required to go out the door within 18 months because we consider that bonded capital, so it's not something that we can use to pay our administrative expenses. Finally, we believe our agencies are performing well and will collectively, the important word here is collectively, generate enough revenue to support their operations over the foreseeable future. Questions?
Joe, just one question. The investment earnings, for example, on HFA, like jumped, I think, in 26 and then remained flat on the other agencies. What is, I mean, obviously looking at potential decrease in interest rates over the course of next year. Just curious about sort of those projections around investment earnings.
Right, so the investment earnings, looks like they're going up 14, 16, well, 15 it drops, 19. A lot of this is based on investments that are sort of already invested in queue. Okay. When they mature, you know, we estimate Treasury Department the prevailing rates that we believe are going to be in effect at the time and what those investments will be earning during those periods going forward. Okay. So there's a lot of guesstimate in there, but this is our best sort of estimate of what we think it will be based on what we're seeing today and what we expect to see going forward.
Okay.
That helps.
Great, thank you. Will, do you want to present the resolution?
Sure. Now before the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC audit committees is a resolution that was transmitted in connection to this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, next item 3, approval of the internal audit report on debt issuance compliance review. And Hanem Babayeva will, Vice President of Internal Audit, will present the item. Hanem?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So today I'm asking for approval of our report, which was based on internal audit annual plan. So we reviewed the operations of that issuance unit. This unit is in charge of managing and sale of the bonds for New York State Housing Finance Agency, Tobacco Settlement Finance Corporation, Municipal Bond Bank Agency, and State of New York Mortgage Agency. For calendar year 2023, HCR issued approximately 1.4 million in bonds, and primary purpose of this audit was to determine whether bond financing follows HCR policies and procedures. It's been approved and followed by appropriate management and personnel. I also want to mention that this operation is heavily regulated, so our concentration was more on internal policies. Ensure that decision-making and approval procedures are in line with the strategic goals of the organization, determine whether selected projects for financing comply with both HFA's and SONYMA's policies and procedures, as well as ensure the internal controls the internal controls are in place and properly adhered to. So based on the scope of this review and within the scope of this review we conducted, we determined that operations are maintained in a manner satisfactory to achievement of their objectives, and we suggested few improvements for their internal controls. We have a general understanding between us and management about the action going forward. So we are confident that we achieved our goals and the operations are well maintained.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Good to hear.
Okay, Will, present the resolution.
Sure. Now before the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC audit committees is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hanem. Now we turn to shared audit committee consent item. There will be no presentation of the following consent items unless requested by the members and directors. The next item on the agenda is item 4, approval of amendments to the independent audit contracts with Ernst & Young. Now Will present the related resolution.
Now before the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC audit committees is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
We now turn to the HFA audit committee consent item. Next on the agenda, item 5, independent auditors report relating to the audit of the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. Will we present the resolution?
I think we do have a presentation for this matter, so we will hear from the folks.
Oh, great. Who's doing the, oh, is that Heidi? Oh, great. Okay, oh, we have the auditors. That's Eric, that's, what's her name? Danielle. Oh, great, we can't quite see her.
Can you just introduce yourselves so the rest of us can...
Good morning, all. Danielle Hurlbert from Ernst & Young. I lead the external audit team that performs the audits of the agency. And here along with, sorry, maybe I'll start over. Does everyone hear me? Hi, good morning, Danielle Hurlbert, the executive that leads the EY audit, external audit team. So here this morning to present one of the items along with Sonia and Ted.
Okay, hi, good morning. I'm Sonia. I am the controller of the agencies.
Hi, Ted Podest, CFO for HCR. Thank you.
Good morning.
All right, so we're here to talk about briefly the single audit. The single audit is conducted for any grants where we spend, federal grants that we expend at least $750,000 a year. So this year we are presenting, restating 3 years, 2019, 2020, and 2021. We were notified last year that we omitted a grants program that was to be reported on the single audit report and therefore have restated those years. Questions?
Yeah, and maybe I'll just jump in on the auditing and the audit reports that have been included. So as Sonia said, this is one of the annual audit requirements for HFA because of the receipt of federal funds. So there's a requirement to submit annually a schedule of federal expenditures detailing how those grant funds were used by the agency. And so as Sonia said, we have been in process and been conducting audits for a 5-year period currently. So an initial submission of the fiscal 22 and fiscal 23 schedules, as well as doing an audit of the additional program that needs to be added to the fiscal 19 through 21 reports. So we we are conducting those 5 audits simultaneously and well underway or well through our procedures at this point. Our plan is to issue those 5 audits simultaneously at the completion of the procedures on all of the audits. Included in the materials were draft reports as they stand at this point for the 5 years of these single audit submissions. So fiscal 22 and 23, again, as I said, no findings are reported in those schedules. For fiscal 19 through 21 and this resubmission that needs to happen because of that missed program on the schedule. So there is a finding that will be reported around the completeness of the CFA that was originally submitted. So there is a draft finding included in those reports that hopefully all have seen. There is a minor or a brief management corrective action that's included there, really just stating that the agency staff will go through a re-education process to educate the staff on the preparation of the CFA on an annual basis and the federal grant receipts that need to be reported on there, as well as going through processes and controls just to evaluate those items to make sure that a complete CFA is prepared on an annual basis. So I'll maybe just pause there. If any questions on that, certainly let me know.
Did you say a draft was circulated or will be circulated?
Was circulated. So included within item number 5 on the agenda are the draft reports for those 5 years.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Will, we present the resolution?
Now before the HFA Audit Committee is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the motion and second previously recorded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Great, thank you. All right, the remaining items on the agenda for the audit committees are informational only, no presentation unless requested by members or directors. Item 6, financial statement update, second quarter fiscal year 24, budget and financial plan for the second quarter of fiscal year 24 and the first quarter of fiscal 25 for AHC, and the independent auditor's report for Ernst & Young, presentation of the audit plan. With that, there's no unfinished business on the agenda of the audit committees. There being no further business for the audit committees, Will now take the legal steps to.
Sorry, Chair. We have a presentation for item 8, just briefly.
Oh, the audit, the Ernst & Young PowerPoint?
Okay.
It's in the,
Yes. Sorry, just take 1 minute maybe of the time on your meeting just to comment on the fact that the annual audit plan for fiscal 24, so now looking forward to fiscal 24 and the audits of the 5 agencies. So an audit plan was included in item number 8 within the materials. I will say overall a consistent plan and timeline that's expected for those audits as part of our procedures this year. And really the only thing I maybe wanted to call to everyone's attention is that under the PAAA standards and the audit rules around the firm that you engage to conduct the audit, as well as the executive who runs the audit, there's a requirement to audit the rotation, the role of the audit executive at least every 5 years. So I'm actually finishing out my fiscal 23 audits and the engagements that we just presented previously will be the end of my term. So our plan amongst the EY team and starting working with the agency team is actually to transition back the prior executive. So for those that might recall, Lou Roberts is a partner at the firm and was previously the executive that served the account 5 years ago that I took the engagement on from. So our plan is to bring him back. He has the familiarity with the agencies, actually a really strong history through a good portion of his career. He's worked alongside these agencies. And so that is our intent, is to bring Lou back to be the executive. So at your next audit committee meeting, myself and Lou very likely will probably be here, maybe just to do a sort of final transition and that sort of those items with the committee. But we are, I would say, well underway on sort of our side of things of starting that transition process, bringing Lou back into the fold with the agency teams. And so really just wanted to call that to everybody's attention that that's our plan on a go forward for fiscal 24.
Great, thank you. Thank you for your help.
Mr. Chair, quick question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I know I'm not on this particular board, but what is PAAA, please?
Now you're gonna, the PAAA, they're standards of the state that govern certain operations of the agencies. And so as part of that, there are some rules around the engagement of audit firms. And then as part of that, there's that rotation requirement of the audit executive.
Okay, and what does it stand for, please?
I don't know.
Public Authorities Accountability Act.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Apologies, I forgot as well. But thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you all.
With that, there's no unfinished business on the agenda for the audit committees. There being no further business for the audit committees, will now take the steps to adjourn their meetings. Note that the next audit committee meetings are scheduled for Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Will?
Thank you. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor of adjourning the audit committee meetings, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the meetings of the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC audit committees are adjourned.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Now we will turn to to the agenda for the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC governance committees, and begin with the shared governance committee action items. The first item is the adoption of the minutes of the meetings held on the dates listed in the agenda, which will be deemed approved absent corrections from members or directors. And again, I'll abstain from that since I did not attend that meeting. Now we turn to the shared governance committee consent items. There will be no presentation on these items unless requested by members or directors. Item 2, the approval of contracts with firms on the agency's pre-qualified list of firms for the provision of information technology, temporary staffing consultant services. Wow. Will? Present
And now before the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC governance committees is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Great, thank you. Next on the agenda is item 3, the approval of contract with Sierra for SAP application management services. Will you present the resolution?
Sure. Now before the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC governance committees is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, now we turn to the HFA Governance Committee consent item. Next on the agenda, item 4, approval to extend the insurance consultant services contract with insurance advisors. Note that this item is the same as item 15 on the HTFC board that we tabled temporarily. Alexa Sewell, Senior VP, Multifamily Finance and Development, will present this item.
Hi, good morning, board members. This item is to obtain your consent to extend by 2 years a contract to provide insurance consultant services. We have been working with insurance advisors for the past 5 years. This contract was approved in September of 2019 and is just on the verge or just expired, and we're looking to extend it for 2 years. We have this consultancy with on the HTFC side as well as the HFA side. To date, we've only used it on the HFA side, but we find these consultants to be helpful, and we're hoping you'll agree to extend the contract so we can continue to work with them for 2 years. Are there any questions?
Great, thanks, Alexa. Will you present
Now
the
before
resolution?
Oh, please. Now before the HFA Governance Committee and the HTFC Board is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item, and I think we do need Ms. McEwen.
Sure.
She stepped out of the room just briefly because this is an HTFC Board item. Okay. Sorry, this is an HTFC board item in addition to the governance committee of HFA. No worries. So now before the HFA governance committee and HTFC board is a resolution that was transmitted in connection to this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay. Can you just hold on one second? Well, hold on one second.
I thought it was draft.
Please, please.
Not prepared to present.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
That's
Okay, we turn to the SONYMA committee consent item, which I turn over to SONYMA Vice Chair Wisnauskas.
Great. So let's do item number 5, which is an approval to extend the SONYMA contract with Conduit Mortgage Services. Will, is there a presentation on this one?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, the materials were in the book, so if you have any questions, if not, we can take it to a vote.
Now before the SONYMA Governance Committee is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, the remaining items on the agenda for the governance committees are information only. There will be no presentation unless requested by members or directors. The first 3 are shared committee information items. Item 6, annual review of financial printing contracts with ImageMaster LLC. Item 7, annual review of hosted technology services agreement with ProLink Solutions, Inc. Item 8, annual review of contract for web hosting services with Amazon. Next is an HFA Governance Committee information item, item 9, annual review of contract for climate bond certification services with Sustainalytics. Sustainalytics. Finally, we have 2 SONYMA Governance Committee information items, which I turn over to SONYMA Vice Chair Wisnauskas.
Great. So we have item 10, which is the annual review of the master servicer agreement with M&T Bank, and item 11, which is the annual review of software maintenance contract with Emphasis.
With that, there is no unfinished business on the agenda of the governance committees, and there being no further business for the governance committees, will now take the legal steps to adjourn their meetings. Note that the next governance committee meetings are scheduled for Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Will?
Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor of adjourning the governance committee meetings, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the meetings of the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC governance committees are adjourned.
Terrific. Thank you. We will now take up the agenda for the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC boards and begin with the shared action items. The first item is the adoption of the minutes of the meetings held on the dates listed in the agenda, which shall be deemed approved absent corrections from members or directors. Next on the agenda, item 2, resolution authorizing the approval of additional benefits for HCRs, public authorities, and public benefit corporations. Note that this is item 19 on the HTFC board, which we tabled temporarily, and Sev Morrow, VP and Deputy Commissioner of Human Resources, will present this item.
Good morning, everyone. We are happy to come to the board today to discuss the addition of 2 additional benefits that would be available to all HTFC, SONYMA, HFA, and AHC employees. These 2 benefits are currently being utilized and enjoyed by folks on the DHCR, Division of Housing Payroll. We can start with the first one, which is leave donation. The leave donation program allows employees to be able to donate vacation time to other employees that are on the same payroll, for those employees that may have exhausted all of their accruals. I'm going to give you a very brief summary of this program. The details are highlighted in the memo that we have supplied to the board. Employees can request leave donation if they have exhausted all of their accruals that they have, and they are on the payroll and must be absent at least 2 weeks after they request the use of the accruals. Employees that wish to donate can donate as much as they would like to. However, they do have to have a balance of at least 10 days left in their vacation bank if they would like to make that donation. And again, there's no maximum number of days that an employee can donate. I will let you know that over the 30 years that I've worked with the agency and watched the DHCR employees use this benefit, it has been an incredible help to a lot of people. For the most part, people that go out for injury or illness, a lot of them do exhaust all of their accruals, which if that happens, you have no money coming in. It can also affect your benefits status as well. So what this allows people to do is it allows people to stay paid in full-time status with no interruption of their benefits. So it's an incredible program, and I've seen many employees benefit from that. The second program we are looking to add for all of those payrolls as well is what we're calling the Reduction in Work Schedule program, which is pretty much a copy of what the state side is doing, DHC Voluntary Reduction in Work Schedule program. And this program allows employees to opt to have a percentage of their pay reduced, but then transferred in accrual format. In this case, we would be calling that time reduction in work schedule time. That time can be used for anything, just like vacation time can be used. However, it does require supervisory approval in order to be able to utilize that time. And why would people want to have this program? Well, a lot of people, like we've mentioned before, who might have been out for extended periods of time, may have exhausted all of their accruals, and then they return to work and they have no time to use. So some people will opt to, instead of being paid, let's say 100% in their paycheck, they will have 10% of that put into an accrual bank so that they have time then to use for maybe follow-up visits to the doctors, physical therapy, etc., or for whatever use that they would need to use it for. Employees can also bank their time or use it as they earn it. So again, it could be used right away to go to additional appointments that they may have, or it could be that that you have an event coming up in your life where you do not have time and you would like to be able to have time to be in an approved status, so you can bank that over and over. It does require the employees to be able to use that time by September of the year after they've signed on for the Reduction in Work Schedule program. Very similar to the leave donation program, I've seen this program help a great number of people, especially those who are coming back from injury or illness that have zero time. So we're looking forward to the possibility of having this added to those payrolls. So at this time, those are the 2 benefits. If anybody has any questions, I'm certainly happy to answer them.
Thank you, Sev.
Great,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Okay,
Got a question
will
for
we
you,
present
Seth.
the resolution?
We have a question for Mr. Freeman.
Seth, are you able to roll that time over? And if you are not, are you able to have that paid out at the end of the year? Or do you bank it for the new year?
Good question. Yeah, so the reduction in work schedule time must be used by the September of the year after you have enrolled in the program, so it does not roll over beyond that period of time. What we in the Office of Human Resources Management do is people that are in this program, we give them plenty of notification that time is coming up and they should be able to use that. And unfortunately, there's no payout of that time if you were to leave service while you still had a balance available.
So you got to use it or lose it, basically.
Use it or lose it.
Okay. Does that impact?
And
the
with this
vesting
program,
schedule
like I
at
said,
all?
most employees have a specific reason that they're doing it. So like I said, it's either to use it for ongoing, maybe medical visits once they've come, they have no time, or they know, let's say, you know, in October, we're taking a trip to Europe and I don't have enough time to cover it, so I'll go on this reduction in work schedule program for a little while until I bank up the amount that I might need, and then I can come off of it. Supervisors cannot supervisors must allow people to participate in this program. However, they can have a say in whether or not that time could be used, just like vacation time, very similar to that.
And in donating the time, how is that time allocated to the new user as opposed to the person that's donating that time?
Yeah, so when it comes to the leave donation program, the very first one that we talked about, you can only donate vacation time, and then the vacation time is given to the employee who is asking for the donation. As far as, are you asking for like a financial conversion, or just how might they be able to use the time?
How would they be able to use the time as far as the person donating it? They're giving up that financial stake in it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a complete donation. So if you are willing to give X number of hours to another employee that is in need, you are donating it, and it simply comes out of your balance. The employee that is in need then is able to use whatever the amount is that you've donated in full day increments. They would use it in full day increments while they are still out. If they do return to the payroll and there is a balance left, that time is then restored to the people who originally donated the time. And that use is only for sick purposes, for themselves, for the employees.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Great. Thank you. Will, do you want to present the resolution?
And just now that we've moved to the SONYMA board, I want to note that we've been joined by Director Ford, and I need to ask, sir, for your vote, your individual vote, which we'll use throughout the meeting. Okay. Aye. With that, now before the HFA, AHC, HTFC, and SONYMA boards is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 It's carried. Thank you. And the resolution adopted.
Great.
Thank you.
Item three, the resolution authorizing the approval of the administrative budget request and financial plans fiscal year 2025. Note that this item was previously presented by Daryl Johnson and discussed as item 2 of the audit committee agenda. So there's no further presentation. Will you present the resolution?
One question on this is just, I know looking at the budget and, you know, and looking what was approved in the governance and audit with regard to, for example, the Sierra contract, just like we had talked previously about a roadmap with regard to technology, and given that, you know, about 10% now of the agency's budget is going to technology and IT maintenance services. So just have a better understanding sort of the technology roadmap for the agency as it pertains to overtime with regard to that, just given its increasing percentage of the budget that it occupies.
Yeah, I think we talked maybe 2 meetings ago, and Tom Miller, who's probably sitting in the back, but I can't see him, was going to come back in the fall, which I realize it's fall, but not probably do it next month, and talk about a roadmap. So yes, James, on that.
Okay, that's it.
Right now,
Yep.
that's like $1 million increase almost.
And the
technology side.
Yeah,
in the budget.
Yeah, just I forget what it's up to at this point, but it looks like it's about occupying about 10%-ish. It's much higher on the HFA side than on the SONYMA side. But yeah, just to be cognizant of that.
Yeah, so we'll do a roadmap sort of strategy agenda item. Ideally, we'll do it next month if we can.
But we're going to vote on it now, but we're going to do the roadmap next month.
This resolution is regarding the financial plan. This is regarding the budget and the financial plan that was presented earlier, so it's not specifically concerning the technology roadmap.
Yeah, they're separate items, but it's just noting that it's a part of the budget. So good with the budget. I just wanted to know
If it's
that.
part of the budget, then it's not really a separate item, then, is it?
But I think we'll have a chance, I think, after that to revisit it coming into next year's budget. Obviously, these are things that are needed for ongoing operations, but just to understand where this may go in the future, I think.
Mr. Chairman,
thank you.
I just wanted to, if I could, please, just wanted to request as before the board meeting ends, because I don't want to hold up the process right now, but I think we could have some at least brief discussion about just how these types of matters are handled going forward. I will support the resolution as presented, but I do think that some useful modifications might be at least worthy of discussion.
Okay, that's fine. Why don't we discuss
you.
that off? You're welcome. Why don't we discuss that offline? I don't think we need to take board time to do that, but I understand your point, and we can discuss that.
Well, I do want it to be a part of the record, but I just don't want to hold it up right now. So,
Okay.
Let's continue, and we hopefully will have time before we conclude.
Okay, thank you. Will?
Sure. Now before the HFA, AHC, SONYMA, MBBA, and TSFC boards is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
All right, next on the agenda are the shared information items. There will be no presentation unless requested. Item 4, review of the third quarterly procurement report. Item 5, quarterly investment report. Item 6, second quarterly swap report as of April 30th, 2024. Item 7, financial statement update, second quarter fiscal year 24. Item 8, budget and financial plan for the second quarter of fiscal year 2024 and the first quarter of fiscal year 2025 for AHC. And number 9, the current agency procurement contracts in the lobbying restricted period. With that, there is no unfinished business on the agenda of the MBBA and TSFC boards. There being no further business for the MBBA and TSFC boards, will now take the requisite steps to adjourn their meetings. And after the MBBA and TSFC meetings adjourn, we will continue with the HFA, AHC, HTFC, and SONYMA meetings. Note that the next MBBA and TSFC meetings are scheduled for Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Will?
Assuming the motion and second previously entered, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the MBBA and TSFC board meetings are adjourned.
Bye,
Great.
Abby.
Thank you.
Take care. Go Bills.
Bye. Thanks, David.
All right. Thank you. We will now continue with the remaining agenda for HFA, AHC, and SONYMA boards and their respective committees that are still meeting today. We next turn to the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA board action items. Next on the agenda, item 10, resolutions for the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA members recommending and authorizing the issuance of an amount not to exceed $28,760,000 of fixed rate and or variable rate tax exempt and or taxable bonds, and amount not to exceed $15,079,224 in HFA subsidy funding, and an amount not to exceed $2 million in HTFC community investment funds for the project known as Freedom Springs, City of Albany, Albany County. Note that this item is the same as project item 4 on the HTFC board, which we tabled, and Terrence Sang, Assistant VP Multifamily Finance, will present the item. Terrence?
Good morning, everyone. Freedom Springs is a new construction of a 3-story building containing 120 units and a small single-story community facility building in the city of Albany. The units will be affordable to household earning between 50 to 80% AMI. There will be one super unit and then a separate employee unit to house a veteran service counselor. There will be 60 ESA units. 30 of those will be for veterans, and the other 30 is going to be for seniors. There will be 2 separate ESHI award. One is going through the Albany Housing Coalition, and the other one is through the Gateway Community Industries. The amenities will include a community room, a fitness center, outdoor recreational spaces. The small building will house a separate community space to be leased out to a local nonprofit to provide community service to the residents and to the local community folks. So the recent rezoning of the area allowed this development to house commercial and residential buildings. The site is near a local bus stop, and it's also 3 miles from the Albany train station. Building is going to be all electric, and it will meet the enterprise green community plus requirements. Redstone Equity Partner will be the investor on the low-income housing tax credits and also the state low-income housing tax credits. Citibank will provide a letter of credit during construction to cover the bonds, and the borrower entities is the Vaccino Group related entities. They also the GC and the management company, and they have many prior experience with the agency. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Terrence. Any questions?
Quick one. Has the community come on board as far as this project moving forward?
Yes, they are part of the planning, in the planning process prior, yeah.
Because at first they weren't agreeable to this project in its current location.
The location is currently a vacant parking lot.
But you're confirming that the community is on board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? All right, Will?
Now before the HFA Finance and Program Committee, the HFA Board, and the HTFC Board are resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. And sorry, Chair, did you?
I'm going to recuse myself from this item.
Right. Okay. And so I note that the vote requirement here is 6, and for today's meeting, we only have 6 members present. Under the Corporation's Code of Conduct, there is a provision that permits the waiver of recusal requirement in situations where extenuating circumstances warrant consultation regarding the appropriateness of an exception to full recusal, and specifically this applies in cases where the member's vote is required to meet the affirmative vote and the member is voting with the majority. All of the members are voting unanimously. Any member not present says they would so vote. Without reconstitution, the membership would be unable to meet the affirmative vote requirement, and action by the corporations is required before such time as the membership might change. I note that this vote satisfied all of these conditions, since without Chair Weiss's vote, the matter could not be voted on. So there would only be 5 votes and 6 were required for quorum, and voting Chair Weiss's vote on this item is therefore accepted, and the recusal will be therefore accepted, and the recusal requirement waived. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you. And Will, you have my recusal on 11, 13, and 16 as well.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Will. Thank you, Terrence. Okay, item 11, resolution of the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA members recommending and authorizing the issuance of an amount not to exceed $119,855,000 of fixed rate or variable rate tax exempt or taxable bonds, and an amount not to exceed $57,652,599 in HFA subsidy funding for the project known as 115 South McQuestion Parkway, City of Mount Vernon, Westchester County. Terrence?
Yep. 115 South McQuestion Parkway is a new construction of 2 buildings, one 6-story and one 10-story towers, sharing a common 3-story base at the bottom in the City of Mount Vernon, Westchester County. The project will have 315 units, affordable households earning between 40% to 90% of AMI. There would be one super unit. The project will also contain a community space for nonprofit programs, and above ground covered parking garage, and retail on the ground floor of the 3-story base. The 2-acre site was recently rezoned and is part of the Mount Vernon West Hub transit-oriented zone. The project is intended to facilitate the vision to create a transit-oriented mixed-use community. The site is 0.2 miles from the Metro North Station and is surrounded by small-scale retail businesses and single-family homes. The project is going to be all electric and will meet LEED Silver certification requirements. The developer is a joint venture between the NLP Group, Forward Thinkers Development, and McQuestion Groundview LLC. The NLP Group is taking a lead on this as a developer. The other small partners on this joint venture are local community organizations. Goldman Sachs will be the low-income housing tax credit and the Brownfield tax credit investor. And also they will provide a letter of credit during construction. I would be happy to answer any questions, if any.
Thank you, Terrence. Any questions?
What percentage is
Okay.
affordable housing?
What percentage? They're all affordable.
100%.
100%.
Okay, Will,
Yeah,
present the
question,
resolution.
please. And another question, just in terms of the developers, the project managers on this, perhaps I just didn't hear it, but could you just enlighten us as to exactly the organizations or groups that are involved with that part of it, please? The actual developers?
The actual developer is going to be controlled by a joint venture. The managing partner of the LLC will be controlled by the NLP related entities, and they have prior experience with the agency. And they also will be, NLP is also the management agent company and also the GC. They have successfully completed one of the projects recently with the agency, and also they are working on another project which closed 2 years ago.
Okay, because yeah, I think you probably know where I'm going with this, but there's a significant component of the Mount Vernon community which is of color, predominantly black, as a matter of fact. Is that reflected in the development team?
Yes, they are so the other two joint venture partners, Forward Thinker Development LLC and McQuestion Groundview LLC, are minority-owned enterprises.
I see. So they're minority partners, no pun intended.
I mean, it's a $119 million deal. I think it's a collection of entities together that have the financial support to complete the project. And I know that NRP has a very strong history of reaching out to the community wherever they work, and they work around the country.
Okay, so so the answer is yes.
They're not the majority.
The answer is yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, will we present the resolution?
Sure. Now before the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA Board are resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Okay, next agenda item is number 12, resolutions of the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA members recommending and authorizing the issuance of an amount not to exceed $57,245,000 of fixed rate and/or variable rate tax-exempt and/or taxable bonds, and an amount not to exceed $17,810,974 in HFA subsidy funding for a project known as Station Plaza, City of Ossining, Westchester County. And Russ Ubley, VP Multifamily, will present the item.
Sure, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Station Plaza at 30 Water Street in the village of is part of the Village of Ossing's waterfront revitalization plan. It was created. It's being created to help restore, revitalize, and redevelop deteriorated and underutilized waterfront areas along the Hudson River in Ossining. I'm not entirely certain, but I believe this might be the first HFA financing we've done in Ossining. The project will be built on the former Department of Public Works property, comprised of 3 acres. There will be 2 buildings. The first building will be an 8-story mixed-use building consisting of 109 units for households earning up to 80% AMI for Westchester County. That building will also include a retail facility and a community center. The community facility will complement the village's community center programming to encourage community development. The second building will be a municipal parking and free parking garage with free parking for residents. There will be a linear park that runs down the river that will include a variety of seating and landscaping to attract activity and commerce to this part of the village and toward the Sing Sing Kill Greenway, which ties into the river. The multifamily building amenities will include a gym, co-working space for children and families, a library, lounge, and outdoor terrace. Many sustainability features will be featured in the building. It's new construction, so therefore it's all electric per our requirements. There'll be a geothermal system for heating, cooling, and hot water generation, as well as a rooftop solar system to offset electricity usage. There will also be 11 electric vehicle charging stations within the parking garage for residents. The project is a mixed income and mixed use project that will provide high quality affordable housing for these families and individuals. The borrower is a single purpose entity controlled by the developer Wilder Balter. They're in good standing with the agency, and they've successfully completed several projects with us in Westchester and some other areas up the Hudson River region. Because the project is not located in a HUD qualified census tract or difficult to develop area, it does not benefit from the typical 30% basis boost that our tax credit equity usually provides in our projects. Therefore, we are looking to waive the annual per unit cap from $575,000 per unit to up to $775,000 per unit, which will help to generate additional equity to help offset the fact that they're not getting the basis boost. And that's my presentation on Station Plaza.
Thank you, Russ. Questions?
One question, like obviously this project is choosing to do geothermal. It has a payback period. It works well for a lot of our buildings, especially they're going to all electric. Do you feel that we need to do more education on the use of geothermal for developers, especially, this is obviously Wild Balter, it's a sophisticated developer, but do you think we need to invest time in educating folks about geothermal and the value it has, especially in these all electric buildings?
I think we do, and I think we actually are. I'm starting to see more and more proposals that are coming in on our technical assistance sessions where this is being proposed. And in fact, our sustainability unit is now engaging with us on those sessions to kind of help at that stage where it's something that can be still considered before it gets too late on a project budget. So yeah, I think that effort's definitely being made more and more now.
Excellent. Anything else?
I just
Will?
want to note that a number of the items listed as part of Station Plaza are actually for McQuestion Parkway in the package, and so I've been trying to find Station Plaza on a map, but it's the Mount Vernon. So I'm just curious, is this north of the Capelli development on the water in Ossining, or is it south between that, like the train station and Sing Sing?
Yeah, it's near the train station. It's sort of right across from the train station, and just north of Sing Sing.
Just north. Okay, thank you. Be helpful next time to have the right documents with the right deals. I understand it happens, but.
Online, but.
Okay, thank you. Will you present the resolution?
Sure. Now before the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA Board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Okay, item 13, resolutions of the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA members recommending and authorizing the issuance of an amount not to exceed $45,110,000 of fixed rate and or variable rate tax exempt and or taxable bonds, an amount not to exceed $11,908,172 in HFA subsidy funding, and an amount not to exceed $506,000 in NYSERDA Clean Energy Initiative funds for the project known as Willow at the Ridgeway, City of Yonkers, Westchester County. Russ, you're up again.
Sure, thank you. Willow at the Ridgeway is also known as Ridgeway Phase 6. It's the sixth and final phase of a transformative redevelopment of the former Cottage Place Gardens public housing complex in this development area called the Ridgeway. It's a mixed income community. The Community Builders, Inc., TCB, is partnering with the Mulford Corporation, which is the development arm of the Municipal Housing Authority for the City of Yonkers. They've been working together on many other endeavors, and they're partnering up as a development team together to develop this project. Willow will replace 3 vacant public housing buildings consisting of 56 units with a new 8-story all-electric 100% affordable building with 92 units for seniors. All apartments will be designed for an aging population and reserved for seniors referred from Macy's Section 8 waitlist. The unit mix includes 85 one-bedroom and 7 two-bedroom units, with 31 units reserved for households at or below 30% AMI, 29 units for 50% AMI, and 32 units at or below 60% AMI. And amenities at the project will include free internet, air conditioning, electric ranges, and Energy Star appliances. As a new construction project, of course, it'll meet all our electric-only requirements for sustainability. The building will also have a common laundry room on each floor, a community room, a gym, a terrace on the 7th floor, with seating and a solar canopy on the roof. The project's designed to promote aging in place for seniors. Residents will have access to property management and maintenance services provided by Macy. TCB, the local community life staff, will provide on-site case management and programs. Recent programs at the Ridgeways included a monthly mobile food pantry, art, poetry, and jazz workshops, as well as an adult daycare program, home health aid services. I'd also just like to note that the project's design architect, Monica Lopez Architect, is a certified minority and women-owned business firm. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair, can you hear me? Can I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Same question, and thank you for the presentation. Perhaps I just didn't hear in terms of the composition of the development team again, please.
Sure, it's a two partnership between the Yonkers Housing Authority. They have a development arm called the Mulford Corporation, a nonprofit that's their Macy's development arm, and they're partnering with the Community Builders, Inc., which is another nonprofit organization that does a lot of work in the city of Yonkers.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I just have a comment. I just wanted to really shout out the state and its partnership with the city of Yonkers. This was really a very, very distressed community once upon a time, and over the last, say, 15 years plus, it's completely redeveloped. So continued great work here. This is really helpful and transformative in a city where the waterfront is fast gentrifying. And so to try to keep pace with that, with a complement of affordable housing in the city in this area is great. So.
Okay, thank you, Sadie. Will?
Sure, and I note, again, the chair's recusal for this item, and also Mr. McIntyre is recusing for this item, so I'll read into the record. I'll spare you the actual reading, but the recusal guidelines to count votes, because we need both votes to meet quorum. Now before the HTFC board, the HFA Finance and Program Committee, and HFA board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Item 14, resolution of the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA members recommending and authorizing the issuance of an amount not to exceed $50 million of fixed rate and or variable rate tax exempt and or taxable bonds, and an amount not to exceed $24,057,775 in HFA subsidy funding, and an amount not to exceed $3,382,000 $92 in Federal Housing Trust Fund funds for the project known as White Plains Road Apartments, City of New York, Bronx County. Russ, you're up.
Okay, thank you. The project will be the new construction of an 8-story multifamily building, rental building with 135 units set aside for households with incomes at or below 80% of AMI. The building will be located at 3663 White Plains Road, going through to the east side of Willett Avenue between East 213th and 216th Streets in the Williamsbridge section of the Bronx. The proposed White Plains Road project will be a mixed-use apartment development. They're proposing 8 stories. There'll be ESHI Service Award dollars going to the project. Supportive units will serve multiple special needs populations. 41 of the units will be reserved for people with serious mental illness. 41 units will be reserved for chronically homeless individuals and families. The remaining 54 units will be available to other individuals with limited income and resources. Some who may be homeless, and 1 superintendent unit. Well Life Network is a 501c3 nonprofit. They're the developer on the project. They'll provide on-site services to the special needs populations to help make them successfully transition from shelter to permanent housing and maintain their tenancy. Again, the income range is between 30% AMI and 80% AMI as an income average tax credit project. The main offices for the project will be located on the first floor, which will also feature conference room space and a front desk management office. The building has a central lobby and reception area. All common areas will be designed for full accessibility. The amenities will include laundry facilities on each floor, an exercise and wellness room, storage for bicycles, electronic bike scooter charging on the property, safe electronic bike scooter charging on the property. Energy efficient appliances, HVAC systems will be designed to meet our sustainability guidelines for all electric. There'll be a playground, community space outdoors, 24/7 front desk site staff, free broadband Wi-Fi will be included to all residents, and the building is accessible on all 8 floors with stairs and 2 elevators. A little bit about Well Life is a local nonprofit service provider that provides the supportive services to target populations, so they're serving as both the service provider and the developer on this project. Lastly, I'd just like to also add that the architect design firm on this project as well, Urban Architectural Initiatives, is a certified minority-owned business firm.
Great, thank you. Questions? Will you present the related resolution?
Now before the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA Board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Okay, item 15, resolutions of the HFA Finance and Program Committee and the HFA members approving supplemental resolutions amending the bond resolution for the Riverside Center 1, Riverside Center 3, and Riverside Center 4 projects, City of New York, New York County. Mark Price, VP, Debt Issuance, and Director of Capital Markets will present the item. Mark?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'll try and be brief. This is for the projects that you referenced, Riverside 1, 3, and 4. They're to the west of Lincoln Center in Manhattan. About 270 affordable units. It was a 70-30 market rate affordable mix. There's about $200 million of bonds outstanding. They were all authorized at the same time with some forward purchase agreements. So the first slug was done in 2016, followed by ones in 2017 and 2018. They were privately placed, and the direct purchasers included Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, and HSBC Bank. These are floating rate bonds. They're subject to a mandatory tender from time to time. We have extended, or the purchasers have opted to extend that date a few times in the past. This particular extension requires board approval, as there will be some amendments to the series resolution. Those amendments, of course, include the extension date. So the mandatory tender date would be extended from October 16th of this year to January of 2027, with an option to extend to July of 2027. The direct purchasers would like for a bit of a pay down of principal, I think in an amount of about $30 million. Right now, the rate on the bonds, it's based on a percentage of the SOFR index. SOFR is a taxable variable rate index. Right now, it's at 70%. They would like to change that to 80%. The spread is currently 175 basis points above the index. The lenders would like that to be at 250, but in no case greater than 300 basis points. And then some administrative changes to the resolution, those changes including a change in how the payments flow to the trustee. They would like that to go directly to the trustee instead of through the servicer. And then finally, a change which subordinates certain payments to the extent that there is a default, and those payments would be due to any of the direct purchasers who provide a hedge to the overall transaction. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions?
Quick question.
Will? Oh,
So-
go ahead.
So the servicer, the trustee wants to receive the funds and then pay the service provider from those funds?
No, not the service provider. So the servicers for the loans happen to be the direct purchasers themselves. So just, it's an administrative change to call it the trustee as opposed to the servicer.
Anything
Now
else?
before the HFA Finance and Program Committee and HFA Board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda are HFA board action items. Resolution of the HFA members recommending and authorizing the issuance of an amount not to exceed $64,268,748 in HFA subsidy funding and an amount not to exceed $3.2 million in NYSERDA Clean Energy Initiative funds for the project known as Town and Country Apartments, City of Binghamton, Broome County. Russ, you are up again.
Thank you again. So Town and Country Apartments, comprises 22 three-story garden-style apartments. It was originally built in 1964 as low-income housing for families. It's not a regulated property in the sense that the agency has ever had any sort of regulatory involvement. It's basically a HUD Section 8 project. They're coming to us for financing and for some substantial renovation because the project's in fairly not decent shape. Since 2010, the project has changed ownership multiple times. In 2019, the mayor of Binghamton announced a plan to renovate the apartment complex. The city's providing $3 million towards that effort. The project has been, again, in need of significant rehabilitation. A purchase contract was arranged with the new owner, which will also be receiving tax credit subsidies through our state low-income housing tax credit program, in addition to our subsidy, not the typical bond federal LIHTC projects. So this will be sort of a hybrid subsidy financing with state tax credits. The previous owner, or the current owner who's leaving the project, unfortunately is in default on other loans, and so we had to help facilitate a transfer of ownership to a new developer, Vesta. Vesta is in good standing with the agency. They just recently closed a project called Hudson Heights with us back in June. They have good standing and good performance with us, so we're happy that they're taking over the management of this property. They conducted a complete assessment on the property needs. HUD has done a property condition report. There's some project-based Section 8 that the units are not up to the HUD quality standards, so right now HUD is threatening to suspend their Section 8 payments, but thankfully, because we're providing this financing plan and we're hoping to close this project within the next month, HUD is willing to keep the project-based Section 8 assistance flowing into the project. So we're quite happy with that. There, you know, the substantial rehabilitation is very large. I won't go through all the details of what they're doing, but it's detailed in the memo. It's been a long ride to get to here. It's a costly project, but we feel it's necessary. The good news is that the renovations will go beyond the necessary to include 3.2 million in clean energy initiatives, which will include a 20% energy use reduction across all buildings, full electrification for an existing property, which is a stretch goal beyond what we typically will see. There'll be cold climate split systems, air source heat pumps, full electrification of domestic hot water, high energy efficiency Energy Star appliances, and VRF heat pumps, and a hot water heating system. So we're happy that we're finally getting to this project and putting it in a place where it'll be both financially stable and safe for tenants for many years to come.
Excellent. Thank you, Russ. Questions?
I had a question, just one question. It appears there's a significant amount of mold and environmental issues here. Is that, I'm assuming that's one of the reasons the scope is much more expensive, or?
Absolutely, yeah. There's lead in water, there's mold mitigation that's adding a lot to the hard cost budget, so for contingency purposes.
And in the pictures, it looks like it's just the vacant units, but does this persist in units that are in occupancy as well?
Most of the vacant units are, yeah, definitely the worst shape. The occupied units are in definitely much better shape, but there's definitely some shared, you know, walls and spaces that are going to have to be mitigated as well. So there'll be some temporary tenant relocation.
Okay.
What I was going to ask about, how are they going to handle the tenant relocation portion of it? And then also in the subsidy for the tax, is that all going to be carried by federal funding, or is that impacting the community in any way?
The state low-income tax credits you're referring to?
Yeah.
Or do you mean the property tax? Oh, or
Yeah.
do you mean the property tax?
No,
or
the subsidy on the tax. Yeah, he wants an offset
Yes.
on the taxes, so.
So do they have a pilot here?
Yeah, there's a pilot with the city of Binghamton. I don't remember the exact terms of it, but they're getting a fairly favorable pilot. The city of Binghamton's been trying to get this project moving for several years, so they're very much in support of a favorable tax exemption for the project. The tenant relocation is going to be sort of a checkerboarding. As they're going to put the vacant units online, they'll be able to relocate tenants into those units, and then it's sort of a checkerboarding process.
Now they'll be back in the
right
second,
yeah.
So they're gonna do the renovations on the open vacancies, the open apartments, and then move the tenants into that, and then go fix the ones that they've been relocated from afterwards?
Yeah, that's part of the process. There'll also be some off-site tenant relocation. The Binghamton Housing Authority is offering to provide some temporary space for tenants as these units are put back online to meet the HUD quality standards.
And they'll be relocated back into the property at the current rates or higher rate? Monthly?
Yeah, they'll be at the same rate. There's project-based rental assistance that basically supplements their rental income.
And Section 8 is going to cap it at the 30% of their income?
Right, yeah, for all tenants, yeah.
Okay. Will we present the resolution?
Sure, and I note again the chair's recusal and our recusal standard, which I'll read into the record to count his vote. Now before the HTFC board and HFA board is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, item 17, resolution of the HFA members authorizing AHOP project transfer from HTFC to HFA with subsidy adjustments for the Adams Street infill project. And on this matter, Thomas Abbott, Director, Homeownership Development Initiatives, will present the item.
Hi, everyone. I'll be super quick since this was already approved by HTFC. It's a transfer over. This is a request for $2.4 million in AHOP subsidy to support the construction of 12 homes in Buffalo. All homes regulated at an 80% sales price AMI. They're all 3 bedrooms and are about 1,400 square feet. Our sponsor here is the Buffalo Erie Niagara Land Improvement Corporation, or BENLIC, which is the land bank for the region. And a participating lender here is Evans Bank, based in the region, well-versed in the local market. Just focusing on sort of what's changed since the HTFC approval, we took a closer look at sort of the homeowner's ancillary costs, property taxes and insurance, and realized that those assumptions at the beginning were too conservative. So it turns out that the sales price AMIs here are actually below 80% of AMI. So that sort of allows us to, under the AHOP term sheet, instead of providing $150,000 of subsidy per home, to provide $200,000 of subsidy per home. Additionally, there's been some increases in costs since the original approval last November. So as they've begun to lock down their subcontractors, it's a fairly small project. Those costs have shifted over time. They've had to change their subcontracting strategy to meet our MBBA requirements, and there were also some changes to the building's design. So that's sort of the reason for those cost increases. I'll leave it there. If people want me to elaborate on anything, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, thank you.
They're going to meet the MWBE requirements.
So that's just our standard process. So during construction, they'll do quarterly reporting to the MWBE team. We'll have an approved utilization plan in place prior to closing. They're using here the sort of realty firm that'll be doing the marketing efforts is a minority-owned business, and so is sort of well-equipped and has those connections in the community to make sure people are applying.
I just want to note that for this program, the priority is for minority contractors and developers. So the state was very intentional working with Land Bank. CPC is the big lender in this program. So a lot of outreach to the brown and black community to try to bring forward developers, particularly on the novice side, because these tend to be smaller, with the goal of really enabling them to get through a project where it's not just one house, but maybe it's 5 houses, so that they're developing their capacity and developing their ability to broaden their businesses and their construction. So it's been, my comment was just going to be kudos to sticking with a lot of these deals. They take a long time to incubate. They often have changes in the middle of the project. These are the most distressed houses in a lot of these communities, and so what you think the condition is ends up being very different once you go to price it, and so it takes a lot of time and patience. And the state has been great at really working with a lot of these smaller contractors who are less sophisticated and require a lot more technical assistance and support. So it's a great program for a lot of reasons, and I just wanted to highlight that.
Thank you. Thank you, Sadie. Will you call the resolution?
Sure. Now before the HFA board is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, before we continue, we are going to skip to item 24 to accommodate Board Member McEwen, who needs to leave. So we're going to do items 24, 25, and 26, and then we'll come back to item 18. There's one other thing, and that is that we actually have to conclude our meeting by 12:30 to accommodate the PACB board requirements. You may recall that they have moved their meeting to allow us to do our meeting first. So I'm going to take the unusual step of asking board members to hold questions that are of a factual nature that are not in the materials, and we can submit in writing those questions of a factual nature that are not related to whether you would approve the matter or not. Obviously, if there's a question that would determine whether you would be approving a matter, then of course please ask it. But if there are factual questions that are not in the materials, we will have you submit those in writing to the presenter, and you provided a written response. But we have a short deadline to comply with the PACB board meeting today. So next up is going to be items 24 through 26, and then we'll come back to 18.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Just as a point of information, I guess, I want to understand. So any other items because obviously there's other items that as members of the board we might wish to discuss, in fact do, and I'm hearing that we won't be able to do that today. And so I just want to, I would certainly abide by the judgment of the chair, but I would like to express that for the next agenda, that's for our next meeting, that there would be time for a more open discussion with respect to various items that are of concern to board members. Don't want to stop any of the processes that need to go forward, but as I said, we're not here as board members simply to just express yay or nay with respect to specific agenda items. We do have a broader sense of governance. So if we could just keep that in mind, and perhaps the next agenda, which comes up in October, can actually leave time for that. It's a pretty robust agenda that we have today, obviously, but we do need to have time for the board, unless we're going to have separate executive committee board meetings, and that's a lot more time for you and every other board member. So I just respectfully ask that the next agenda reflect those concerns, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And by all means, if there are questions that would lead to whether or not you would support an item, I want to make sure that you do ask those questions today. But if they're factual questions that are not in the written materials that have been provided, if we could hold off on those items alone, and by all means, we will make sure that there's appropriate time for discussion at the next meeting. This is an extraordinary circumstance given the PACB meeting that was moved to accommodate our request, so I appreciate the board members on
So
that.
I'm speaking of policy and governance. Yeah, I'm speaking of policy and governance issues, so fine. Let's proceed.
Thank you, Member Ford. Okay, item 24. Item 24, next on the agenda, shared consent item. There will be no presentation of the following consent items unless requested by members. Item 24, resolution of the HFA members and SONYMA directors recommending the approval of the second quarter bond sale report for the quarter ending April 30, 2024. Will?
Now before the HFA and SONYMA boards is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is an HFA consent item, item 25, resolution of the HFA members approving the independent auditor's report related to the audit of the schedule of expenditures of federal awards. Will you present the resolution?
Now before the HFA board is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
Thank
The
you.
resolution adopted.
Thank you, Will. And next on the agenda is an AHC consent item, item 26, resolution authorizing award of grant funds for certain projects, OFWCA, Owner Occupied Home Improvement Program, Erie County, Adirondack Roots Home Improvement Program, Essex, Clinton, and Hamilton Counties, South Grand and Fountain Brook Properties, Dutchess County, Yates, Schuyler, 2024 HIP, Yates and Schuyler Counties, Employer Assisted Housing, Westchester, New York, Kings, Queens, Richmond, and Bronx Counties. Will you present the resolution?
Now before the HFC board is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 And Chair, let me now close the HFA, AHC, and HTFC board meetings. So assuming the motion and second previously, oh, please, go ahead. Assuming the motion and second previously entered, all in favor of adjourning HFA, AHC, and HTFC and their respective committees, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you for the accommodation. I appreciate it, Chair Weiss.
Okay, thanks, Sadie.
Sadie and James. See you next month.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go back to item 18, and I'm going to turn over the meeting to SONYMA Vice Chair Wisnauskas.
Great, so next on the agenda, item 18, being presented by Mike Friedman, is the resolutions of the Sunny May Mortgage Insurance Committee and of the Sunny May Board recommending and approving 100% mortgage insurance on an $8,890,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for Freedom Springs, 64 Colvin Avenue, Albany, Albany County.
Good morning.
Go ahead, Mike.
So this project comprises the development of 60 East Shy supportive housing units and 58 low-income units. There is a 30-year pilot with the city of Albany. This will be the 7th loan that the MIF has insured for Vincino, with total liability of $43 million. The insured loan amount is $74,000 per unit, which equals 16% of the project's total development cost of $463,500 per unit. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Questions? I know you well will have heard more details on this already, so.
Yeah.
So now before the
all right,
Sunny May, now before the Sunny May Mortgage Insurance Committee and the Sunny May Board are resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Great, thank you. Next on the agenda, item 19, resolutions of the Sunny May Mortgage Insurance Committee and of the Sunny May Board recommending and approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $37,180,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for the 115 South McQuestion Parkway project, Mount Vernon, Westchester County. Mike?
So this project comprises construction of 315 low and moderate income units. It's being developed by NRP Enterprises, which has developed over 8,400 units of affordable and workforce housing. This is the third loan that we will insure for NRP with total exposure of $71 million. The insured loan amount is $118,000 per unit, which represents 16% of the project's total development cost of $730,000 per unit. Thank
you. Thank you, Mike. Questions? Yep.
Just a nitpicking comment. Under the insured mortgage terms, you've got this running out for 4,108 years.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. That should be corrected.
Thank you.
I intend to be here. By the way, before I collect that.
We'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
Great. Well, let's take it away.
Now before the Sunny May Mortgage Insurance Committee and the Sunny May Board are resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried. The resolution is adopted.
Great. Next on the agenda is item number 20, which is resolutions of the Sunny May Mortgage Insurance Committee and of the Sunny May Board recommending and approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $13,500,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for the Station Plaza project at 30 Water Street, Ossining, Westchester County. Mike?
So this project comprises construction of 109 low and moderate income units, 3,700 square feet of commercial space, and a 4-story detached parking garage. Of the 109 units, 38 will be moderate income. There's a 30-year pilot with the Westchester County IDA. It's an all-electric project with rooftop solar. The insured loan amount is $124,000 per unit, which equals 14% of the project's total development cost of $900,000 per unit. However, net of the brownfield cleanup cost and the cost of the garage, the cost is only $744,000 per unit. Thank you.
to that point, just as a kind of overall observation on the agenda, is that it was only a few years ago, a couple of years ago, that the typical per unit cost was running $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 was a big number. All of a sudden now we're looking at $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 a unit. And at the same time, going further down the agenda, we look at the revenue that we depend on, which is the mortgage tax, is running close to half of what it was a few years ago. To me, this looks like a long-term squeeze. So I just throw it out there for observation.
The insurance portion.
Yeah.
While the cost of the project they've doubled in some cases, it has caused more subsidy to be provided to these projects. The first mortgage generally has not gone up because it's a function of rental income, which hasn't kept pace with construction costs. But there's an oodle of HFA subsidy in all these projects.
Thank you. Just, trying to point out the obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Understood.
Great, okay, well, let's do it.
Now before the SONYMA Mortgage Committee and SONYMA Board are resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Great, next on the agenda is item number 21, resolution of the SONYMA Mortgage Insurance Committee and of the SONYMA Board recommending and approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $9,910,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for the Willow at the Ridgeway Project, 23 Bishop W.J. Walls Place in Yonkers, Westchester County. Mike?
This project comprises construction of 92 all low-income units, and all of the units will have project-based Section 8. There's a 30-year pilot agreement with the Yonkers IDA. The insured loan amount is $108,000 per unit, which equals only 12% of the project's total development cost of $888,000 per unit. Thank you.
Anything else, Mike? Okay, questions?
No.
Okay, if there's no questions, well, let's do the reso.
And now before the SONYMA Mortgage Insurance Committee and SONYMA Board are resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is item number 22, resolution of the SONYMA Mortgage Insurance Committee recommending and approving 100% mortgage insurance on a $6.4 million HFA permanent first mortgage loan for the White Plains Road Apartments Project, 3663 White Plains Road in the Bronx, Bronx County. Mike?
This project will comprise the construction of 82 ESHI supportive housing units and 53 low-income units. There is a full 420C New York City real estate tax exemption. The insured loan amount is only $47,000 per unit, which equals 7% of the project's total development cost of $641,000 per unit. Thank you.
Great questions. Okay, Will?
Yeah, just real quick. There's a,
Oh, great.
This is the second item with respect to the White Plains Roads Apartments. There's one earlier in the agenda with respect to this, and at the risk of, well, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Stupid is not asking a question. So just if you could just clarify for me at least, or for our colleagues as well, just the distinction between the two items, please.
Oh, sure. So when the F&G, sorry, Will, you want to go ahead? The prior presentation was for the HFA board to approve the bonds and the subsidy. And then this item in front of the SONYMA board is to provide insurance for first mortgage. So a separate action, but on the same project, but by a different board.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
So now before the Sunny Mae Mortgage Insurance Committee is a resolution that was transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Great, thank you. Next on the agenda, item number 23 is a resolution of the Sunny Mae Finance and Program Committee and of the Sunny Mae Board recommending and authorizing series resolutions and the issuance of bonds, and Mark Price is going to present.
So good afternoon, everyone. We went from morning to afternoon at this point, but good afternoon. So this particular matter is in connection with our authority to issue bonds for Sunny Mae. Our ability to issue bonds is limited by several things. First is a statutory cap related to the statute that created Sunny Mae. We are also subject to a cap that is passed upon by the Public Authorities Control Board, which is meeting anon. And then the third is, of course, board authority, so the Sunny Mae Board Authority. Right now, under those three limits, we are out of PACB limit. PACB will not take up their action until the Sunny Mae board meets, and so this is what this matter is. So there'll be something that's going in front of PACB in a similar amount. We are asking for the board to approve $1.5 billion of bond issuance. That's broken out into $833 million of what we call economic refundings, meaning as interest rates go down, folks want to prepay mortgages that were purchased with bonds. That gives us the opportunity to then refund the bonds that funded those mortgages. And then also $700 million in what we would call new money and replacement refundings, new money, so new mortgage loans that we purchase in the course of what we do throughout the year. These numbers were determined in consultation with our computational consultants and are reasonable and gives us enough runway for the next year to continue our operations.
Great. Questions?
That cap is at 3%.
No, it's a dollar amount of bonds that we can issue. It's not a percentage.
I just want to acknowledge my colleagues who handled that at DOB, who were able to find a creative solution to this problem. So thank you to them.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yes.
Any other questions? As my dad would say, don't spend it all in one place, Mr. Price. Will, can you do the resolution?
Sure. Now before the Sunny Mae Finance and Program Committee and the Sunny Mae Board are resolutions that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Great. So the final item on the agenda is a Sunny Mae information item. It's item number 27. There's no presentation unless requested by the directors, although Mike is still sitting here, so you can pepper him with questions if you'd like to. It is item 27, the MIF activity report for August 2024. Okie dokes. And then we were going to have the Osborne Association come and report back on the Marcus Garvey extension. They were coming on Tuesday, but we moved the meeting to Thursday. They were not available, but we have secured them to come in the October meeting, so we will add that to the agenda for October. And with that, there is no unfinished business on the Sunny Mae agenda.
Okay, so Will, I think we need you to take the legal steps to adjourn the meetings and note that the next, sorry?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, before we adjourn, yes, you were going to say something?
No, I was going to say there were two items we were supposed to discuss, which was the MWBE information that was supposed to be broken out for us. And then we were also, the Osborne one was the other piece of it, but then we were also supposed to go over the budget information as well for MWBEs.
So on Osborne, right, we will have them come in October. On the MWB information, we are going to send to all of the board members charts. We were trying to get those out earlier this week, but it's been a little, between the board and all of us actually being at a conference, we did not get it out, but we will get out in the next couple of days, I would say.
Excuse me,
on all of the board.
Pardon me, with all due respect.
Can I just finish my sentence?
That's not what was requested. That is not what was requested.
We were asked to provide the MWB utilization report across all the boards, so we're preparing that to send to all the members.
I'm not suggesting that what you were working on is not important. What I am suggesting is that request that this particular item of whatever progress is going on, whatever activity is going on with respect to the MWBE aspects of this organization be part of every monthly agenda. It's not even on the agenda, and that's a problem. You know, we did not. I certainly was not appointed to be on the board to have a reasonable request ignored, and we'd like to just have that on the record, and hopefully going forward we can have things done differently.
Do you want to jump in?
Kat, do you want to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I respectfully understand your request for monthly updates on MWBE utilization. It is a lot of work for our staff to pull and do additional reporting outside of our reporting structure. We report quarterly to ESD, and I think that is the appropriate cadence and frequency to report to the board, because our staff time, again, folks are doing a lot with very, constrained resources, and we will be able to provide the board updates on a quarterly basis. In addition to some of the changes we've made to the narratives in the board memos, that includes information about utilization and the makeup of the teams, the development teams. So we're hoping that will also give you some additional color and information about each project every month. We will update you quarterly, and we will provide this document so you can have a look back from 2021 to 2023 on all of our utilization, in addition to an update on our active projects list and their current utilization status.
Number one, thank you for that. Number one, the request was for monthly. Number two, I understand what you're saying about, pardon me. I do understand the notion that the staff is busy. The staff is also compensated for being busy. Number three, when requests are made by the board, they're not meant to be ignored. If it requires a discussion, we're always prepared for a discussion, but just to totally ignore it and say, well, we don't think that the report is necessary except on a quarterly basis is just simply not acceptable, and not going to accept that. So something needs to be done going forward. And I would just also mention, Mr. Chair, that when we get board materials, and we have, as my count here, 652 pages that are supposed to somehow be a summary of what we're going to be discussing today, it's a guarantee that board members are not going to be able to fully participate in the details of what's being presented. Certainly appreciate the presentations. I think they're quite excellent, but just sending 652 pages and say, well, we gave you all the information is not particularly helpful. So, this is not going to be resolved today, but I will say again, for the record, we would like, I did request, and I know Mr. Freeman requested, the board requested, that we have a monthly report, and that didn't ask for an encyclopedic report, but we did ask for a report. And even if it's a summary, that's something other than nothing. Zero is not acceptable. Is not acceptable here, and not going to accept it.
Understood.
Okay, I will take this matter up with council and with the commissioner.
Well, excuse me, Mr. Chair. Pardon me for interrupting, but I don't know what needs to be taken up. The request has been made, and unless it's going to be, say, a request by the board or just to be ignored, I ask you to do whatever you think is best to make sure that happens going forward.
We have discussed the request internally, and I will talk to Will. People can make requests, and I respect your request, and I look forward to working with you, and I hope that we can really have a really meaningful conversation about our utilization and other efforts we can make. And hopefully we can continue this conversation.
Well,
but I don't think we're going to reach a decision here now. I cannot agree to monthly reports.
But it's not for you to agree, okay? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
See, this is the thing. We discussed it before today's meeting on what our expectations were. We've been asking for the information for over a year already, and it keeps getting pushed down the road, pushed down the road, pushed down the road. And then the other portion of it was, we don't have the technology to be able to provide the information. Then when we spoke, the technology is available for us to be able to get the information, but now in today's meeting, it's too much work to put this information together. And then we
That's
just,
not what I
hold
said.
on,
I
hold
think you're
on. And then we
mischaracterizing
just
what I'm saying.
we just approved close to $2 billion worth of information and work and stuff. Kerry's no longer here, right? We need to figure out what we're going to do as far as that department and how we're going to organize it and what we're going to do. We approved the budget.
That's not
and
up to you,
we don't
though.
see the numbers reflected in that
But-
to support that office to expand on the things that we're doing in the first place. And we were supposed to meet Tuesday. So we canceled Tuesday and abruptly did a Thursday meeting. I canceled stuff for Tuesday to be here Thursday, and it's not even on the agenda at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I can address the timing. Mr. Freeman, I mean, we talked about the accommodations being made to a director who was in the hospital and other directors who were unable to be here this week. And, you know, we're doing our best to manage the PACB, which is a mechanical requirement. And, you know, with all apologies, because it affected all of us to, you know, review the materials. But frankly, we had an extra 2 days to review the materials. So, but look, I mean, it's duly noted about the length of the materials. We all understand that, and we do our best to get through them. As far as the item not being on the agenda, that's what I would like to take up with council and the commissioner, and we'll talk about it ahead of the next meeting. In the meantime, we need to adjourn the
Jumping in, we
meeting.
are literally getting kicked out of this room now, so we need to.
So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Will to close the meetings.
Okay. Assuming the motion and second previously entered for SONYMA and the respective committees, all in favor of adjourning the meeting, please say aye.
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 Motion is carried, and all of our meetings are now adjourned. We can
Thank you, everyone.
can stop the webcast. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good day, everyone.
Sir.